Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And with that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsors. Organic herbs and botanicals, skincare and edibles, wellness for body and mind. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. Ronald Records. From indie gems to classic hits, discover the heart of local music. With live shows all the time, up close and personal, and regular releases on their in-house label. Ronald Records. Supporting the community, one track at a time. All right, thank y'all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water. Thanks for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
Hi, I'm Jordan James with Weekend Lover.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about, who you are, where you're from, what you do. Give us that, Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
Profile. I was born here in Portland, and I moved to San Diego when I was 10.
Okay.
And then from there at 14, we went to Thailand. And
whoa.
I lived in Thailand till I was 20. And came back here. Here I am now.
Gotcha. What brought you to San Diego and then to Thailand?
So we moved to San Diego to spend time with family before taking the journey to Thailand. We were moving to Thailand to fight human trafficking with my family. And that's what took us to San Diego.
Man, that's quite the trip.
Yeah.
And then when did you first get into music initially?
Oh, I bought my first guitar when I was probably 12, 13.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had a love for music since I was a kid, man.
No, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Was anybody else in your household musical at all growing up?
Actually, my grandma plays piano. She plays by ear. And it's crazy. She just hears a tune and can riff it out.
Man, I'm always jealous of people who could do that on piano.
Right? It's not fair. But yeah, there's a lot of musicians in my family. I'm not super close with a lot of them.
I gotcha.
You got it.
So did your mom or dad play at all?
No.
Okay, so kind of skip from your grandma over to you in that.
Skip the gen.
Gotcha. Okay. And then what was the first moment where you recorded music?
First time I recorded music, I think I had some buddies help me record Hallelujah or something down in San Diego. But the first time I really got into recording music, I was probably around 17 in Thailand.
Oh, okay. What was that like?
Well, it was wild. I just kind of fell into playing music at night markets, 'cause we'd sell cakes and brownies and stuff at night markets, and they had live music there. And I fell into a band called Legends of Siam.
Mm-hmm.
And our band manager, producer, he's from South Africa, and he records a lot of artists there, and it was new, it was exciting. I was super pumped to have had the opportunity to get into that, and it was all just new to me.
Yeah. Well, that's a really cool experience.
Yeah.
And then before we get into more of what you do with music in the present day, I do have a couple foundation questions I like to check in with everybody on.
For sure.
And this first one, it's one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
First album I ever bought. Probably. You're diving deep into my memory box here. I kind of want to say it was a Coldplay album. I think probably X and Y.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a super hardcore Coldplay phase.
I mean, they were pretty big for a point in time for sure. I mean, I think they're still big now. I don't know how much they're doing these days.
Yeah.
But there was a point in time where they were pretty forward in everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then what was one of the first live shows you ever went to? That was like specifically one you wanted to go to.
Rascal Flatts.
Okay. How was that?
It was wild. That was in San Diego, the amphitheater. I think it's the Cricket Amphitheater.
Mm-hmm.
I was super pumped to be there. My cousin took me. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, they were awesome live. I mean, I don't stay up with their music, but 13-year-old Jord loved it.
Fair enough. And then this is a question I really only get to reserve for people who have like actively done music in another country.
Yeah.
But what was the music scene like there versus here? Like, how would you like compare them or contrast them?
That's a good question. I feel like it was a little different for me because I was the white American guy
mm-hmm.
in Thailand, so I kind of caught on quick. Like, and I can sing in Thai and
okay,
and so I got pretty well known on the island we lived on pretty fast, and was getting gigs and started doing weddings and playing bars. And
so it was like kind of like your livelihood to a degree.
It was for quite a while. Yeah, that's how I made a living.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then
here, it's I don't have that advantage of being the standout guy. That's like out of place.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah, a little bit less of a commodity.
Yeah. That's the way to put it.
I gotcha. Well, I mean, listening to some of the music you have out now, I feel like you're doing a pretty solid job, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Before we get into what you do officially in the present day, do you have a defining moment where you decided you wanted to take music more seriously?
Well, I've always had a passion and known that it's what I want to do,
mm-hmm.
but it's been like up until this last year, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go 100% dive into this because it's my passion. It's what keeps me sane. It's like, I bleed music, and it's always been on and off career, but now I'm like ready to hit it 100%.
Oh yeah. Well, definitely excited to dig more into that. So let's get on into the here and now. We're going to get an easy one out of the way, and I guess this will be more directed at the band than you specifically, but how'd you pick the name?
Weekend Lover?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even know if I have a cool story for that, honestly.
That
it just
okay.
kind of, we just, the old group of us just kept shooting out ideas for different names, and Weekend Lover kind of sticked, and it kind of hit my heart and was like, kind of, that feels right to me. Feels like, definitely my romantic life for sure.
Gotcha.
And yeah, we just kind of rolled with it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's definitely a cool name. I mean, it's not hard to spell. It's easy to remember. It's got a good ring to it. It looks good written down. So definitely a solid choice all around. And I guess what's the band dynamic look like at the moment? Since it is just you here at the moment.
Yeah. So there's me, Jay, he plays bass. Mm-hmm. Mikey, he plays lead guitar. Camille, she's the drummer. She's a badass. Jay's a badass. Mikey's a legend, and Jay's been my best friend for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. And I met Mikey at open mics. I used to co-host with my buddy Aaron.
Did you call him Open Mikey?
Open Mikey? Oh my God. I didn't think about that.
Mike, I'm sorry.
We call him Littlefoot now.
Oh gosh. Okay. Very Land Before Time of
He's got the big hair.
Gotcha. Okay.
He's a short guy, but big personality, big talent.
Gotcha. Oh yeah. And then, sorry, keep going.
Oh yeah. So I met him at open mic, mm-hmm. and I met Camille through I don't know how. I think it was through Instagram. She popped up, and I just had been following her and kind of fanboy over her music and her drumming, and asked her to help record some stuff for me. And now she's just she's around with us. She's sticked around.
Yeah, I'm drummer now. Hey, that's rad. I dig that. And so how long have you all been playing like as a band?
Together just in the last 4 or 5 months, I want to say.
Okay. I just wanted to kind of get a feel of the timeline.
Yeah.
And then getting back to more of like you individually, let's talk about your writing process a little bit. And we're going to break it up into chunks, but we're going to start right at the beginning. So when you get inspired, you're ready to make music. What are some of the things you do to get a song started?
To be honest, like anything will inspire me, like a conversation or something someone says, or just pain that I'm going through or feelings that I'm going through, I guess. A lot of my stuff comes from pain, but I just sit behind my guitar and start a melody and kind of just sing out what comes to my heart, and then, write it down. I've got a stack of paper probably that tall.
Gotcha.
And try and summarize, I guess, my emotions and feelings and story into lyrics. And
okay. And so you primarily a pen and paper guy?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah, although my phone does have quite a few notes, but they're never finished.
Fair. Will you take them from your phone and transfer them to paper?
Yes, I do that.
Okay, so you're a big fan of the like tangible element.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, lately I've been writing so much, I feel like I'm getting dyslexic. Like,
oh no,
I'm like, write the next letter first. I'm like, oh my God, it's just coming out so fast.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's better than trying to reach too hard because you can't pull anything out. Yeah. And then I guess, do you write the music and then bring it to the band, or is like the band's music like the band's music?
So I pretty much write the songs and the melodies and get everyone together and kind of let them do their thing. I think that's like a beautiful part about having such great artists is collectively they each bring their own art piece to the project. Yeah. And then together it becomes this full mural. Okay.
But are you primarily like the songwriter in the group, or will like other people bring tracks as well?
So far, I've just been the only one writing songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then once you get a track finished writing, how long does it usually take you guys to get comfortable enough to perform it?
Shoot. Well, we only practiced 3 times before we recorded our live album at the Hallowed Halls. It was kind of a rush. I don't want to say a rush, but I was in a rush. I was like, we need to get some stuff recorded and put it out there. And these guys are also talented that like, it happened.
Yeah. Okay. I dig that. And it's definitely, it's a really cool live experience. We're going to jump into, this next part where we talk about music you've got available. Yeah. So I jumped on ye old Spotify and I checked out everything you've got available on there right now. And you got a couple of singles that I believe you kind of just recorded acoustically.
Yeah.
And they're solid tracks, but your live performance is really interesting. I think it captures your sound really well because you've got a great voice. It's very expressive. It's very dynamic. Your range is solid as well. And is most of the guitar playing your lead guitar player then, or is it like a mixture of you and him?
Yeah, I do the rhythm, and yeah, he does the lead, but he does a lot of fills in.
Gotcha. Okay. Because I was a little curious on who did the solos because
that's all Mikey.
They are rad. Big fan. For a second, I thought that was you. I was like, he goes from singing to shredding like that. Like that's impressive. But I mean, overall, like the sound is really well put together. I think that you guys have a good like delivery, and I think having the live album. Now, was that like a live like at a show album, or was that just a like, hey, we're gonna hit record. All right, that's the first song. Hey, we're gonna hit record. That's the second song.
Yeah, it was a single take.
Okay.
Or single track at a time.
Gotcha. Okay, but it wasn't like
it wasn't
a showcase where it's like,
no.
Okay.
There was no audience.
Okay, I gotcha. Well, either way, it's still it's cool because it does feel like a single take, but at the same time, it does feel very put together. It does feel like a really good way to kind of get to know the sound, and like what to expect live. So it's definitely a really cool experience.
Yeah. I love that live sound. I'm all about like if you can't do it live, then don't do it in the studio.
I'm inclined to agree with you because I think that you should be able to play the whole thing all the way through
fully before you go and like put it down. I'm not against an occasional punch in here and there.
Yeah.
If you got like 90% of it, or if only one person goofed the tiniest bit of it,
Yeah.
and it's something that can easily be punched in. But if you have to punch in every other moment,
Yeah.
go home and practice it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that just makes for a fuller experience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Or if somebody has to like rewrite something in the moment,
Yeah.
and it's just like too good a moment to pass, I get it.
Yeah.
But no, I tend to be on your side on this, where it's like, be able to play the whole song. It just shows that you put the effort in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to a lot of Motown, and so like I just totally have a passion for like one single take.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back in the day too, you were a little more limited on your ability to punch in and or go back and do it again.
Yeah.
You know, half the people in the room weren't going to be back in that room anytime soon. So it's really, and also I think there was a little bit more freedom and a little more funness in the recording spaces back in the day. You know what I mean? Like it kind of, it would be a bit of a hang, and then everybody would just jam in certain respects.
Yeah.
Also, just there were some crazy studio artists back in the day too.
Yes.
Like, that was a whole world.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about you. And I am curious to know, out of all the songs you have available at the moment, or at least all the ones you guys are playing actively, what are some of your favorite ones to perform?
To perform, I love playing Stay and Sirens. Those are probably my favorites to perform.
Siren is a cool track. Or Sirens is a cool track.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just so much like emotional ties to both of those songs that it's just like kind of get lost in my own little world, and then collectively together, like everyone just knows how to play what I'm feeling somehow. It's just magic.
I mean, I get when you have talented people in a room, that tends to be the case.
Yeah, and we're all like-minded and like same goals, same heart. So that brings it together and just makes a cool band.
No, I dig that.
We're grateful. And
then zooming out just a little bit, is there any music right now that you're listening to that's like inspiring you at the moment?
I listen to a lot of Flip Turn lately. Flip Turn's like just,
that name sounds familiar.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're not super big. But they're creeping up, and I don't know. My music taste is all over the map, so I've been listening to a lot of Bella White lately too, and she's a little country singer girl, and but as far as like diving into inspiration lately, I don't really have too much to speak on that.
That's all right. I think that it's a double-edged sword. Like, it's worth taking in a lot of different styles of music, especially as a songwriter.
Yeah.
But you don't want to listen to anything too much.
Yeah.
Or else it can kind of take away from the you of it all.
Yeah. I want to. Yeah, I know, and it's a thing. Like, people say, "Oh, you need to pick and choose a genre," and like I find it hard to stay in boundaries.
I think back in the day that was a lot easier to do.
Yeah.
Because like the amount of music you could intake was a lot more limited. So you kind of had to stay in a lane because you didn't have the option to just kind of grab whatever you wanted and be like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah.
Like, or if you did, you were stuck with it a lot more permanently. And I think even like the accessibility to be able to perform, like if you didn't have a niche to like attach yourself to, they couldn't figure out where to put you.
Yeah.
But now music is so much broader. Like the blending of genres in general is kind of the biggest part of music at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's really, and just people aren't bothered if a show has 5 different genres performing in one night.
Yeah.
So I think now more than ever, that is definitely not the priority. You don't need to stay in one lane, and it's almost more fun to develop your own.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like someone the other day, my buddy's like, "Oh, I showed your music to my mom," and she's like, "That sounds like jazz rock." I'm like, "Jazz rock? That sounds badass."
That is a pretty good way to categorize it. So shout out to that mom. It's hard to pick a genre, like how to describe yourself without using 1,000 words.
Yeah.
So if you want to run with that one, that gets a thumbs up for me. That is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I've always had a hard time describing people because everyone asks like, "Oh, what kind of music do you play? What genre is it?" I'm like, I don't know. But now I've just I'll just throw out alternative and indie because I feel like that's probably the more broader
it's a good umbrella to live under. Yeah,
Exactly.
I when I was in the last band I was in, Smooth Talk.
Yeah.
I just picked the 3 main genres that we all like did predominantly.
Okay.
So like I did funk pretty well. My guitar player and singer both did rock, and my keyboard player was heavily electronic based.
Yeah.
So we were electronic funk rock.
That's sick.
Yeah. I was just like, well, this is what we all do as individuals, so
Yeah.
that's what comes from it.
Yeah.
So.
And together you make that mural, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Now, before we move into the next portion, this next question I have is probably the densest question in the interview.
All right.
But we've talked about, your experience with music, the actions, the reactions. But when it's just you and music one-on-one, what does music give back to you?
It keeps me sane, honestly. Whether I'm performing or, making it big in music ever, like it's always going to be a part of my life. It's like, I have to do it. I don't know, something inside of me that's like, begging to come out. And, it keeps me sane. It keeps my emotions in check. Gives me a place to put those emotions. And, I stopped drinking and I've been sober this year.
Oh, congratulations.
Thanks. But it's with that has come up a lot of feelings and old emotions that I'd, been trying to hide away for so long. And now I have a healthy outlet for that.
Yeah.
And like, just the art has just exploded from it, I feel like.
Now, do you feel that the desire to want to like put out your music passionately and like make it like a full-time project, did that happen around the same time as you deciding to quit drinking?
Yeah, after that, I just, like I started writing a lot and playing a lot, performing a lot, and just because I needed something to do to fill my time, mostly. And I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I jumped off the train.
You're fine. It's a little bit of a broad question, or I guess a little bit of a dense question to ask. Circling back in a little bit, do you find that the music you're writing now is more expressive because you're able to kind of like dial into it more?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a lot deeper, but also clear. And yeah, I'm able to kind of comprehend my feelings and summarize them up more clearly, and versus just kind of mumbo jumbo that I had kind of threw out in the past.
No, I got it.
That I look back at and it just doesn't make sense. But yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing. Like I said, I usually don't dig that deep into it, but I was just kind of curious with the correlation there.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you going that far in with me.
Yeah.
But now we're going to go ahead. We're going to move on to some hypothetical questions.
All right.
And for these, sky's the limits. The questions are all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well. But this first one is pretty straightforward.
Okay.
If you could work with any one person, the only requirement is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Hypothetically, I've always been a Smokey Robinson fan. I know that's a little bit out of pocket genre, but he's like one of my favorite writers and producers, and I've always, it's been a dream to like at least meet him and could write a song with him. That'd be dope.
That's actually a really cool answer.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, who's a local artist, or I guess since you're in the band, who's a local band that you're aware of that you guys haven't gotten to like perform with or interact with yet, but you would like to?
Oh man, that's a good question too. I've been going out a lot and listening to a lot of like just hitting a lot of shows lately.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I saw you on my showcase.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you coming out.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was great. I love what you're doing. A local band I want to do a show with. I'm not too familiar with a lot of local bands, but I kind of want to say I've been wanting to do a show with Alter Girl lately.
Okay, hell yeah!
I like their energy. I like their style. It's a little more punk, but I love the femme punk energy.
Yeah, that would be a really cool show.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, you know what to do. At them in the comments. Let's see if we can make that happen. And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limit, and it's pretty literal in this sense. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, it was guaranteed the best lineup, guaranteed the best show, and it doesn't have to be a venue. It could be anywhere. Where would you want to perform?
Shoot. I'd probably say Red Rocks.
Okay.
I like Red Rocks. I've been there once, and there's something spiritual about that place, and like, I think that's where I would want to play if I could play anywhere.
I want to do an episode of this show there.
That'd be so sick.
I wanted to do Madison Square Garden, but Kill Tony beat me to that. So now Red Rocks, I'm coming for you. Kill Tony, please don't do that. But that is definitely one of I haven't been there yet to like actually get to experience a show. It's on my list, but everything I've ever seen from there, every performance, I've even seen like stand-up comedy is actually where I saw it the first time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a Bill Burr's special.
Oh, okay.
And like just watching him perform that, I was like, what is this place? And then I like found other artists who had performed that. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, it's super rad, tucked away in the rocks.
Who'd you see there?
Millennium. It was an EDM show.
Yeah,
so,
hell yeah. Whoa, okay.
It was super fun.
I bet that was amazing.
It was so sick.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then to wrap up the hypothetical questions, if you could get one more album from anybody, they could be alive, they could be dead, they could have not put out an album in 100 years, they could have put out an album yesterday. Who would you want an album?
Marvin Gaye.
Oh, you were just on it.
Or Amy Winehouse.
Ooh, what if they did an album together?
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Get out of my dreams.
Oh my God. Oh man, I was mad at myself as soon as I said it because it can't. Oh, okay. All right. Well, those are both great answers, and now I will have dreams that will never come real. AI, step it up. No, I'm kidding. All right. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up.
Okay.
What can we look forward to between, let's say, now and June?
Now in June, so we're going down to Arizona, to Phoenix in February to record a 2-part album. And hopefully that'll be out by then. I'm not sure, but we're also working with Sad Times Productions, setting up a West Coast tour.
Oh, cool.
So
why Arizona, if you don't mind me asking?
My buddy Aaron, he's got a niece that has a studio down there, Underdog Studios.
Oh, cool.
And she's badass in the music industry, and she's willing to work with us. So
yeah, hell yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
And then do you have any like shows in this area coming up anytime soon?
Yeah, I haven't really announced them yet, but in March we're having right now we're just focused on recording a lot right now. So
gotcha.
But yeah, March 28th we got a show coming up, Alberta Street Pub.
Oh, cool.
And
y'all heard it here first.
Yeah. I'll wait to post the other bands they're going to be with us, but
yeah, no, definitely wait till you get closer for that. For this next one, go and look straight at your camera. Tell everybody how they can find you.
Yeah, find us on Instagram, weekendlover.band, and Spotify, Weekend Lover, YouTube, Weekend Lover. Check us out.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you'd like to put on while you're on here?
Oh, shout out to you. Thank you for having me, man. I really appreciate what you're doing in this community and like local art, and it's powerful, man, and it means a lot. The ripple effects that you cause are beautiful, and
thank you.
It's much needed. People like me and artists that are trying to get heard what they have to say, and you giving them a platform to do that, it means a lot.
Oh, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Also, Portland Water.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out to Portland Water. All right. Then with that being said, I do have one last question to go.
Yeah.
But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Do it.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary, Ronald Records, and Portland Water again. Thank you so much for keeping us hydrated. And with that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation. But in all of music, what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side? So it's a bit of a deep cut. It's one not a lot of people would know. It's one you think everybody should know.
I want to circle back to the Flip Turn, the Flip Turn Shadow Glow. That's a great album.
It's a great album name.
Yeah, it's a really good album. There's not one song on there that doesn't just kind of slap.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm definitely excited to check that out then. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, but with that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's Jambox. I'm Jimmy.
I'm Jordan.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
Later.
That's a wrap.
This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.